Tesla's up another 1.5% today, and we have officially closed over that $350 resistance that we have been talking about. And I think now there's a very good chance the price is going to break out, as we've been saying, to $400 in the next couple of weeks. Now, more importantly, once again, for the third day in a row, we have triggered an alpha gold alert on Tesla. This is one of the strongest unusual options bullish triggers that we have in the market. And you can see once again today, Tesla has closed with over $44 million in confirmed call options. We're going to be talking about price action. We're going to be going over this flow today, and we're going to be giving our targets on Tesla for the next week to 2 weeks and the next month to 2 months. So hit the like button, hit follow or subscribe, whatever platform you are on. And if you want access to all the indicators that you see in this video completely for free, they will all be down in our free course series in the description. Down there, you can also take our options flow mastery course, which will teach you in depth how to read all of the unusual options material that we will be covering in this video. The only thing I ask in return is that you respect the process, you respect our strategy, and you actually dedicate yourself to learning it. Now let's start first with the technicals before we get into the options flow. For those of you who have been following us, you already know this. We've been basically sitting with the same exact strategy, same exact setup for the past couple of weeks, but we need a quick refresher for anybody who is new. Basically, price action has been squeezing within this wedge for the past couple of months. We've been making lower highs and higher lows. This is a classic squeeze or compression price action. Normally, what will happen here is when price is squeezing like this, we will normally have a continuation pattern. Now, a continuation happens if we look at the bigger time frame. So if we zoom out, you will notice that things are bullish, which means that the continuation will most likely happen to the upside. The breakout will normally happen to the upside. Now, if you remember, we were waiting back here through February, March, and April for price to pull right down into our smart money zone and our point of control. These are our two strongest indicators. They are both free down in the description. You can learn how to do that in both of these courses and get access to those indicators. But this right here is a strong sign that price is going to bounce because we're trading at a massive discount range within bullish structure. And this is normally an indication that the market, or in this case, Tesla, will bounce. And that is exactly what has happened. Now, back here in the middle of August, when price started to break out, we actually took a position on Tesla. If we go into our trading journal and search just Tesla, you can go back and see that we ended up opening a position here on the 11th where we bought 15 1/16/2026 $340 calls. The reason we did this is if price was going to just break out to 400 much quicker than we expected, I wanted to be a part of it. The one thing that I will say is that I think so many people try to trade like a sniper or try to be perfect. And that's not the goal, right? We are here to play a predictive game with our strategy. We're looking to take our strategy, which is proven, right? And we don't win all the time, but 63% with a strong risk versus reward is all you need to make a lot of money in this market. And we want to play the probabilities game over the long term. We have no idea when the actual top is going to be to perfection, where the bottom is going to be. And so what I like to do is build positions. I like to start if I begin to see a breakout and then pre-plan to average down at a specific point. So my plan was to average down if we pulled back to this point of control, seated right at $320. Now, my reason for this was because that is the highest level of volume and or buying and selling that has happened in the past 150 days. And so this indicator, the volume profile, which you can get for free in the description, shows us where most buying and selling has been, which is going to be a major support and a major resistance. So Price pulled right back into that level. We averaged down much like we were expecting here on the 20th. We went in with 5 more of those calls and price bounced to perfection. Since hitting that level, we are now up 10% in 6 days. And right now, I'm up about 16% in total on my calls. And you can see down here that we're currently holding 20 of these $116, $260 call options. Now, the level that we have been watching to potentially break over has been $340 to $350. This has been extremely important. And while we have not 100% confirmed yet, this is looking very good. The reason that this has been a level that we have to break over is because this is the level that has a ton of volume on this volume profile. We spoke about the volume profile, which is the indicator to the right, and we said how there is a lot of buying pressure and a lot of selling pressure at these areas. And normally where there's big clumps, which you can see from $320 to $350, and then another big clump from $300 down to $280. These act as compression areas as well as resistance and support areas. The areas that we are really looking for are these thin areas. So in this case, from $400 to $350. These thin areas are very important because they act as runways for potential breakouts or potential breakdowns. When there is no volume in this volume profile, price will push or cut right through that level like a hot knife through butter. This is very important to understand because these are the real levels that we want to be trading and the real breakouts that we want to be focusing on. And so what we've been looking for is if price pushes through this resistance, that we are going to rip through that level very, very quickly. A really good example of this is if we actually go back to April and May when we were trading Tesla. If we go back into our journal, you're going to see that in May, we ended up closing $94,000 in profit on Tesla. And in April, we closed $58,000 in profit on Tesla alone. Now, the main reason for this is we were trading this support level. Remember, we said that when price pulls back into point of control and into the smart money zone, there is about a 75% chance that we are going to bounce at that level. That's a very, very strong level. And like we said before, areas that have thick volume on the volume profile are going to act as strong support and resistances, and areas that have thin volume on the volume profile are going to have areas for massive expansions, aka a big breakout, or a potential sell-off. And so what we did was we started to go long, and our plan was to take profits between $340 to $350. And you can see we filled the gap to absolute perfection. We saw nearly a 30% move within 13 days. And this type of price action, this type of expansion is what I'm expecting to happen going into the next couple of weeks. From there, the same thing goes from the upside to the downside. When we have thin volume on the volume profile, price can reject and sell off just as aggressively as it broke out. Another perfect example is if we actually look at this sell-off on Tesla through December, January, and February. We have tons of volume down here, good amount of volume up here, and basically no volume down here. So once this support level breaks, it's very easy and for price to just slide right through that volume shelf like a hot knife through butter. And so this indicator here is extremely powerful, and you can get access to the THT volume profile with all of our proprietary settings completely for free. It's part of our masterclass series, which once again is free, and it's under the volume profile blueprint. So if we end up breaking through this level, we are most likely going to hit 400 within a couple of weeks. Now, let's talk about the options flow and the $44 million in calls that came through today. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is that we have seen a lot of call buying happen in the past couple of weeks, not just today. If I go into my private Discord community with my members, you're going to see that if we just search Tesla, this is all of the major flow that has happened within the past month. Back here on 8/7, we saw $7 million worth of December calls come through. We saw another $30 million worth of cumulative alpha gold flow come through on 8/11. We saw about $40 million worth of 9/12/2025 calls, which we talked about extensively a couple of days ago in that video that we did on the 22nd. They continued to add more and more throughout the day. Yesterday, we saw $32 million worth of confirmed flow come through. And then today, we ended up seeing in total $44 million worth of confirmed flow come through. Now, this is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, we know that it's confirmed. Now, there's a big difference between confirmed option flow and unconfirmed option flow. I explain it in detail in our option flow mastery course. And if you don't understand options at all, there's a beginner options trading simplified course right next to it that I recommend. Basically, if they are not buying at the ask or above the ask, then we have no idea if it's actually somebody buying a call or somebody selling a call. So that's why 99% of most of these options activity that you will see in a day is worthless in my opinion. It's really not needed. It's not something that I technically care about. What I care about is only flow that was bought at the ask or above the ask. Now, of all of that flow today, the most important ones, or the ones that stand out the most to me, are going to be these 6/18/2026 $700 calls. These are basically hitting the three major criteria that we look for when we are reading the tape. We want to see size, which you can see this is a lot of money here. All of these orders are between 150,000 to 200,000, some of them as high as 2 million. We want to see time. So we have an expiration date of almost 1 year. This is not something that expires in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And then we want to see urgency. Now, the way that we see urgency is through this letter here at the end of the detail. So if it says _A or _AA, it means that they are buying above the ask. And this is very important because it means they are overpaying. And when you're overpaying with 10, 20, $30 million, it shows that you really want to get into the position as soon as possible. So much so that you're willing to lose money just to get into the trade. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, if we bring up this graph, it'll actually give you like a much better understanding, in my opinion, of how urgent they want to get into these calls. You'll notice that this yellow line here is the price of those contracts. They have been going down over the past couple of months because Tesla has just been sitting sideways. And even though the stock is sitting sideways because of theta decay, the cost of these contracts, or the premium of these contracts, is going to plummet. But if you notice, our average trading volume in a day is a couple of hundred contracts. But back here on August 22nd, there were 16,000 contracts traded. On August 26th, 14,000 contracts traded, which is today. So they've been accumulating and buying up these contracts as price has been going down, which is a very good sign that they expect the underlying asset, in this case, Tesla, to explode. And so when we have unusual call buying the way that we've been seeing it, on top of a massive potential breakout with little volume to the upside, this is normally a perfect storm or a recipe for a massive breakout. And that's why I am holding my call options. And I think that this breakout has a very good chance of this happening. I hope this video helped. Comment down below if you are currently trading Tesla and what you think is going to happen. If you want to get access to all the indicators, like we said, that we use in our trading system, more importantly, learn how to actually use them in a very simple, streamlined system. The link to our entire trading library is free down below. Thank you guys for all the support. It truly means the world to me. And let's see if this hits our target.